So, the University of Idaho is trying to figure out how to run elk off phones. Let me go back a little bit and tell a little bit more of the story. First of all, they have drawings out there for tags. Here, you buy your hunting license, you get your tags, you go do your stuff. Out there, you got to get a drawing, you got to get a tag. So they got way more elk than they can deal with. They need to have an open hunting season.
Yeah.
But they won't do that because the animal rights folks have gotten thoroughly embedded in their fish and game. So they prevent hunting, but they want the elk control. So what they did was they started looking at different ways to do it, and they brought this guy out there with some herding dogs, or some shepherds, to try and herd the elk and scare them out of the field.
But they only do it up to the side, right?
So they basically herded all the elk up in one spot in a big cornfield. You could have walked out there with a rifle and went bang, 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 kill all of them. But they didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So they started looking around at the areas where we run deer and stuff with dogs. They don't have any dogs out there that run elk because they're all broke off elk.
Yeah. And nobody wants to put them on it.
That's right. Nobody wants to put it on them. So, long story short, they called up these guys here and said, "Hey, you got anybody out there that's not a criminal that we
had to look real hard, didn't they?
that we could work with?" And we're like, "Hey, we got this guy that's actually a retired federal agent. He might be interested in doing it. Let's talk to him." So I got a call from one of my friends that's fairly high up in Wildlife Resource Commission. And when I say fairly high up, he's the brass.
Yeah.
And he says, "Hey, Idaho wants to talk to you if you're interested in doing it." So I talked to them a little bit. They asked me what I needed. I said, "Well, I got a litter of puppies that's just hit the ground."
So it's perfect.
It's perfect timing.
Yeah.
This was it. We started talking in like April. I said, "So send me some elk legs so I can do some drags." So a couple days later, fresh elk legs show up, packed on dry ice, and I went down to the hunting club. I actually started in the backyard, messing with the puppies. They were little puppies. So I'm messing with them, where's the elk at? Where's the elk at? Dog box was off the truck, so I threw it up on top of the dog box and made them look for it. And we progressed into dragging at the hunting club. I tie it behind the truck, drag it. And then go back and turn the puppies loose, and or have my cousin turn the puppies loose, and then yip, follow the track right onto the elk legs. So started out dragging them on elk, and ran them on some deer a little bit. And I took 5 of my grown dogs and 2 puppies, and my son and I went to Jerome, Idaho. Now, if you've never been to Jerome, Idaho, it's far. It's far. So the trip out there was exciting as everything else. First night we spent in West Memphis, Arkansas.
Kind of rough.
Drove until I was exhausted. Walked in the hotel like a Holiday Inn Express, and the person working there sitting behind glass. I said, "Oh, this is a great place right here." So I said, "We need a room, and I need a room where I can park the truck right outside the room so I can see what's going on." So he got me a room, and he said, "You might want to watch your stuff in your truck. There's it's kind of." I said, "Well, I got an alarm system. I got a whole bunch of Walker Hounds in it. Ain't nobody gonna come near that truck." And he said something else, and I pointed at the bag that was on my shoulder. I said, "This is a 12 gauge shotgun right here." I said, "I think we got that covered. We're good." And he said, "Oh, okay." So the next night, we tried to get a motel room in Wyoming, and there wasn't any to be had. It was Labor Day weekend when we were traveling, and have you ever been to Wyoming?
I ain't never been.
There ain't nothing. There ain't nothing in Wyoming. There's a crossroads out there, and that's where it seems to be where all the motels are. Is that there's one crossroads. Because we rode and didn't see anything, and then there's boom. That was it. So we wound up sleeping in the truck. So we're sitting in the truck at a rest area in Wyoming, and about 3 a.m. the dogs tuned up, buddy. I mean, they went crazy.
In the parking lot.
In the parking lot at the rest area. So I kind of opened my eyes. I ain't moved around much. I just kind of looked around. I woke my son up. I was like, somebody or something is right up here by the truck.
Yeah.
I reached down and hit the button so the interior lights wouldn't come on. Put my hand on my pistol and stepped out of the truck. And when I stepped out of the truck and turned, I was like this with an elk.
Well, you know the dogs are gonna run.
I was like, well, I found you. And he stood there and looked at me, and he looked at the dogs in the back of that truck, and I mean, they're trying to rip the dog box off the back of the truck.
They don't. The elk didn't even realize.
And the elk was like,
what's that? I've never
he
been
just
around
turned
before.
and just kind of moseyed on away. I sat back in the truck. I told my son, I said, well, I think they're going to do just fine on elk, because that's an elk that was out there and they were having a fit. So we got to Idaho, drove up to the game warden's office there, and the back lot was completely fenced in, right? And we drove up, and the dogs were barking as soon as we drove in. They're barking. And got out and was talking with them. I said, I need to let the dogs out. They need to get out and run a little bit. And been cooped up a couple of days. They're kind of stressed.
Yeah.
He said, well, just turn around right here in our back lot. I said, okay. So I dumped the box, and the back lot was full of rabbits. Full of rabbits.
But the rabbits could get out, right?
The rabbits could get out. But the next thing you know, we had a rabbit race going. And all the dogs were in on that, by the way, because I started them out on rabbits when they were puppies.
Yeah.
And they were just standing there looking at it. The game wardens were standing there watching it, and they're like, oh, this is going to be a much better experience than the shepherds. There's no doubt about that. So that was actually Labor Day when we got there. So we went down to the wildlife area, game land, that was right down the road from the office, and turned the dogs out. There were people out there bird hunting. And they milled around, we fed them, and they did their stuff. We went and checked in the motel. Next morning, we went out to this ranch where they've been having trouble with the elk. Mm-hmm. And we went out with four-wheelers and radios, and the head of Idaho Fish and Game was there. I had a special commission from the governor to do this. Written permission from the governor of Idaho. And we went out and we scouted a little bit. We found a decent sized elk track. My son dropped at Adventure Time, which is he's a walker, but he's black and tan, got a little white spot right here.
Yeah.
My son dropped at Adventure Time down on that track, and he and took off in the woods. My son was behind him, took off in the cornfield. My son was behind him with a 12 gauge. And going through the cornfield, you know, it's like this. He was 2 rows from this elk before he ever saw it.
Stay over here, we'll leave in a minute.
And
Well, they weren't used to being run off for it.
Adventure Time ran right up to the elk and was begging him. And the elk standing there looking at him like, what the hell are you?
Yeah. He don't know that he's supposed to run.
And my son's like, okay, Adventure Time's got the elk bayed. What do you want me to do? I looked at the game warden. I said, what do you want to do? You want to shoot him or what? I said, he can shoot him right now. No, let's run him. I said, okay.
Yeah, they'll run now.
So I dumped the box. They all went in there, puppies and all. Next thing you know, here come the elk, buddy. Just as hard as he can. They sound like a horse. I got it on video. It sounds like a horse galloping through the cornfield.
I remember seeing a video.
Man, it was the most exciting thing I've ever done. The last night we were there, we put snipers up on a couple of hilltops and tried to funnel the elk into this one area where we could pick them off.
Yeah.
And we're all dressed like highlighters, like I am, so the snipers don't shoot us, right? So that night, I've got one of my dogs. I literally got him on the 4-wheeler with me and riding him back around because he's gone where I didn't want him.
Yeah.
And by the way, all the local landowners came out.
They were in on it.
They were in on it.
Yeah.
They were all for it. They're like, you gonna get rid of these elk? Come to
my house
I got
first.
2,000 acres right over here. When you get done here, you come over there. They were all for it. I mean, 100%. They're 100% in. So we got on a mountain line.
A mountain
a
lion.
mountain lion. And my dogs love to smell a kitty cat.
Yeah, them
They-
things ain't gonna run 200-300 yards and get tired
They didn't want anything else to do
with an elk.
with an elk. They were all about that kitty cat. We had to kill that mountain lion to get back on the hunt. Because they would not, the elk could have been standing right here and the cat could have been 400 yards over there and it went.
Yeah.
They were in love with that mountain lion.
Really?
I don't know, they'd never seen one before and they were like,
Well, we went to Maine this year and we took bear dogs.